Shapril Preston.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to another episode of So You Graduated, Now What? I am your host, Shapril Preston. If you're new here, welcome. If you just graduated, if you're about to graduate, congratulations on tuning into this podcast where you can get all the tips you need to know about life after graduation. If you're returning, what's up? Welcome back. I hope you guys are ready for week 2 and our first really official episode. I'm super excited. So I hope you guys are just as excited as I am. But before we jump in, I want to go ahead and introduce something that I think we'll be doing in most of our episodes. So this is our drink of the week. I really had this going on my other social media, like my personal one, and everybody loved when I done drinks, and I just couldn't find somewhere to put it in my real social media. So I was like, why don't we have a featured drink of every episode? And thus this was born. Now today, as you guys saw, wait, let me run and grab the can so you can see. Hold on. For some of you who may not know, this is the brand On the Rocks. A lot of people like the Cosmopolitan, the Margarita, etc. If you can't see, here you go. If you're listening, I hope you just know what On the Rocks is. Maybe you've had it before. But they just released a canned version, and I'm super excited. This is the cucumber and lemongrass mule. I have not tried it, and I'm going to try it right now live and give you guys my honest review. That's what you can expect. You can expect a drink, a recipe, and a review from me and the guest. So here we are. We're going to try it right now. ASMR for you guys. Let me give you what it says on the can. So it says made with premium vodka, sweetened with real cane sugar, gluten-free. Simply chill or pour over ice and enjoy. Zesty and refreshing. It is zesty and refreshing. It is zesty and refreshing. A refreshing twist on the classic ginger and lime cocktail. This is 11% alcohol, 355 milliliters. I believe the 4-pack was $11.99. I got it. If you're in Chicago, I got it at the Target on North Elston. I don't know where else all has it, but I know that's where you can find it, where I got mine. So definitely check this out. I would rate this. This On the Rocks might be on to something with these cans. Like 11%, and it's this good. The other one is a mango and mint mojito, so definitely give them a check out. But enough about the drinks for today. Oh, my rating. I would probably say like a 9 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. I'm not a mule fan. I don't really like mules, but this is good, and I really like the lemongrass and the cucumber. I love cucumber drinks so much. So if you haven't, check it out. Definitely let me know what you guys think. But let's just go ahead and jump right into today's episode. If you've seen today's title, I'm sure you already can guess what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the rebrand after college. I wanted to jump straight in because I feel like this is one of the most vital pieces that a lot of people miss, and I just wanted to help you guys. I just wanted to start off by setting you guys up with a strong foundation before you go jumping off into all the other topics. So we're going to start here. I have my notes. This is a big key from today. You guys need to be writing notes. You need to write these things down. That is what's going to help it stick. I'm telling you, that's literally what's going to help it stick. Let's just start at the simple question, what is a rebrand? The definition from dictionary.com is to change or update the image of an organization or a product. I believe that they could add or a person in there as well, because you can easily rebrand yourself, and that is what we're going to be jumping into today. So let's be clear, a rebrand and a refresh are two different things. A refresh is when you essentially want to kind of keep doing the exact same things that you're doing right now, and you just want to make it a little bit better. A rebrand is when you're at the point in your life when you're ready to become a new person, a better improved person, and maybe let go of some of the qualities or things that you may not like, or improve the things that you do like. Let's jump straight in with question number 1. Why is a rebrand necessary? Now, I want to clarify that everything I say on here is totally my opinion. I am not a professional, so I guess you could take it with a grain of salt or however you want, but I believe that a rebrand is necessary, especially after college, because if you've been in college for 4 years, and let's say that you happen to go through college during COVID, you really only got about 3-ish years. And I feel like by the time it's time for you to graduate, you're probably just now really hitting your stride and you're just now really becoming the person that you probably were meant to be. But it's all over now, and now it's time for the adulthood. So I feel like a rebrand is very important because the person that you are in college is probably not the person you want to be as a professional, and it's probably not the person that you just want to be overall. I mean, it very well could be, but I also want to say, of course, this podcast is for everyone, but I did attend an HBCU, so a lot of my perspective will come from that before I get into my next topic. So I want to think about, where are you the student leader all 4 years? Were you the athlete? Were you the person who was Greek? Or like, what were the different aspects that made you the person that you are? I feel like it's probably not the same that you would have going into a professional setting or a more realistic setting. So I feel like a rebrand is necessary because essentially you are becoming a new person. You're not a college student anymore. And when is a rebrand necessary? This is totally up to you to decide. Some people may want to rebrand immediately out of college, because think about what your brand was in college. If you were like the party animal and you were always known for a good time, et cetera, that may not be the persona that you want anymore. So you may want to do it immediately after school, but it's up to you to decide, okay, now it's time for me to become, that new person. So that is totally up to you. But I would recommend doing it sooner rather than later so that you're not letting so much time pass by. That's one of my only things I wish sometimes that I didn't do, is just let time pass when I could be doing things actively in that moment. So let's get right into it. This is where you need to get your pen and your paper because I'm going to give you some things that you need to do before you can head into that rebrand. So we're going to break this down so simple, step by step, what you need to be doing. So the number one step, you need to decide what is your current brand. So if you're a student leader, if you're, again, an athlete, figure out what your brand is. Like if people said, I don't even know, if somebody was like, who got the moves? Would people be like, Sarah got the moves? If they were like, who can get me an internship? Would they be like, Drea got the internships? Like, what are you already known for? And what is the brand that you currently have right now? And sometimes this may take you talking to the people around you because how you think you're being perceived may not be how you're being perceived. So definitely talk to the people around you and see, like, what is it that I am known for, Once you've come together with what that current brand is, I think it's important to go ahead and ask yourself, this is step 2. Ask yourself, what do I like and what do I want to improve? So essentially think about, and why did I get married, when she was like, make a list. On one side, do all the good, and on the other side, do all the bad. That is essentially what you're doing. And this is why I say you need to get a piece of paper out and genuinely write these things down. You want to think about, what things do I do very well? What things do I really like about myself? And this can be skills. This can be characteristics. This can be anything. What things of the current person that I am do I enjoy and do I want to keep around? And then you want to say, what ways can I improve? So I can give you guys an example of something that I might say. So for something I feel like I do very well and something that I like and I want to keep around, I feel like I'm a very creative person. That's not something that I don't want to be a part of my brand. I always want, if somebody needs something creative done, I want them to be like, Shapro can probably do that. No matter what it is, I want them to assume that I probably can do it. Now, an area where I may want to improve, and I feel like I have started to improve. I used to be the kind of person I always had to have the last word. I don't care what we were going back and forth about. I had to have the last word. And in the season that I am in now, I don't care. I don't care. Like, I really genuinely don't. And I'm not going back and forth with you about anything. But the old me would have went back and forth until there was no more back and forth to go. So think about things like that. Do you want to be known as the girl who she's going to get the last word? Or do you want to be known as the girl who's just going to, okay, whatever. And I say girl, not like girl, but whatever you identify as, totally fine. Once you've written down all these things that you may like or want to improve or change, or sometimes you might want to get completely rid of it. Like, I'll be honest, I know in college, I'm probably the villain in somebody's story. Honestly, a couple people's story. So I don't want to be the villain in people's stories anymore. So I try to be as kind as I can, as nice as I can. I try not to be, I don't even know what the word is, but I used to be very sassy. And, I was proud of it in the moment. And, I did what I did, but I don't want to be the villain in anybody else's story. So that's something that I want to get away from. So think of all those different things. From there, you'll be able to create, which this is step 3. Step 3, create your personal vision. So this is something that I recommend doing in pieces. You may want to break this down several different ways. One way you could break this down, you could kind of break this down by the quarters of the year. You could be like, by quarter 4, this is the ideal person I want to be. Or by quarter 2, I want to be this person. So that's one way you could break it down. Or you could kind of break it down by like a time period. So you could say, in 6 months, this is the kind of person I want to be. These are the characteristics I want to have. Everything in this rebrand, which you'll see, kind of plays into each other. So even if it's something as simple as, how do you want to look? How do you want to sound? How do you want to speak? How much knowledge do you want? Things like that. Those are things that can happen more fast than other things. So of course, if you want to be, I don't know, a stay-at-home mom with the Range Rover, because I know that's the thing right now. Of course, you're probably not going to be a stay-at-home mom with the Range Rover at 20. I mean, you could, for sure. But like, if that's not, if you don't even have the boyfriend yet, you can't be the stay-at-home mom yet. You know what I'm saying? So you have to go based on that. So the other way to break it down could be like, in 6 months, these are the things I want. In 1 year, this is the kind of person I want to be. And by 5 years, this is what I want to be. And I think that's kind of how I like to break mine down, because it just feels more tangible to me. It's kind of how I like to break it down. I even think about something that I'm not as proud of. I feel like I used to kind of just be the kind of person who just like showed up. Like I didn't really put too much into my appearance and stuff like that. And I want to go ahead and put that out. When I'm big and y'all want to pull pictures from college and be like, this you, I'm gonna be like, yes. And I told y'all that in episode 2. I'm just saying that right here, right now on the record. If you pulled in pictures, I was hit. Okay. That's not me now, but that was me then. I'm not proud of it, but that's what a rebrand is important for, Okay. So I feel like, think about things like that. So even if it's something, if you say in the next 6 months, I want to try at least one new hairstyle a month, or I want to always have my nails done for the next 6 months. When you start to build those little habits are going to stick. And then it's not going to be something that you even have to think about, because it's going to be something that you have been doing consistently for 6 months. You get what I'm saying? And those 6 months will turn into that 1 year, and that 1 year will turn into those 5 years. Everything has to funnel into the next. Got it? Got it. Your next step, once you decide how you want to break it down, so whether it be quarters, months, years, etc., your next step is going to be writing down those clear and measurable goals / objectives. So you need to think about, what are some goals that are tangible and what are some big goals? You can put those in your long term, like the long run. You don't have to limit yourself. You can think about what the big goals are. Like if you want a Jeep, or you want a Tesla, you don't have to put that in your 4-month plan straight out of college, but you can have that down the road so that you can keep your eyes on the prize and always have something that you're working towards. So you want to come up with clear, measurable goals and objectives. So when I say clear, I mean very clear. You can't be like, I want an apartment. Where do you want an apartment? What kind of apartment do you want? What things do you want in an apartment? You know what I'm saying? You have to be clear. Like, I want an apartment right outside of Chicago, on the 2nd floor. Like, you got to be very clear and specific in your goals so that you always know what you're working towards and what you are looking for. And when I say measurable goals, that means you have to have a way to basically measure when you have succeeded at this goal. An easy one. I want to gain followers on Instagram. Okay, so if you get 2 new followers, technically you gained followers. You get what I'm saying? So you have to be like, I want to gain 5,000 followers. I want to gain 1,000 followers. I want to gain 10,000 followers, whatever it is. But it has to be something you can measure. And you'll even see this when you start getting into like professional world. So when you do those mid-year reviews, those end of the year reviews, you are more than likely, depending on what you do, of course, but more than likely, you're going to have some kind of measurable goal. Like if you're in sales, which I am. So it's like, how much did you actually sell? What % of the business did you help? So these things are not only for you, but it's going to help you along the way becoming that professional, because I think a big part of, being the professional is being on top of it. So if you can be like, these are my goals and this is how I'm going to measure it, you're already showing up probably better than the next person, because not everybody's thinking about that right out of college. after you get your goals and your objectives, step 5 is going to be start finding ways to attack these goals. No matter how big and no matter how small, you have to start finding ways to actually attack the goal that you have set for yourself. So, in this, it's a lot of different things that you can start doing. You can start building skills. So, say one of your goals is now that I'm out of college, you might not be on campus anymore, and maybe you don't have a makeup artist anymore. Maybe you move into a new city and you don't know how to do your makeup, and you say, well, I am going to learn how to do my makeup. Even if it's now, pause, see, I'm gonna catch myself. You should be able to say, I want to learn how to do my makeup. Do you want to learn how to do a soft glam? Do you want to learn how to do a full glam? Do you want to know how to do a birthday beat? What kind of makeup do you want to learn how to do? That is step number 1. That right there is a clear goal that you want to make. I want to learn how to do a soft, everyday glam makeup look. So from there, that's when you start building those skills. Literally, all you have to do is keep practicing. Nothing is going to be perfect at first. You're not going to know how to do your makeup. You're not going to know how to cook every meal. You're not going to know how to, for some people, you're not going to know how to change a tire. You're not going to know. It's a lot of different things that you're not going to know. But the more and more you do it, the easier it's going to get and the better your results. You can't expect that the first time you do your makeup is going to look like somebody who's done their makeup 1,000 times at this point. Like, you have to give yourself grace and understand that you are learning. And also in that, I feel like an important way of starting to attack your goals is making the right connections. I recently just started doing this, but now I kind of challenge myself with a measurable goal when I go somewhere. Sometimes my goal is, for instance, I want to grow on Instagram right now, 7,000 followers. So sometimes when I go places, I'm like, today I want to get 5 new followers. That's simple. Or I'll go somewhere and I'll say, today I want to meet just 5 new people. Or like, I have the podcast now. So one of my goals at the beginning of the month was simply just to tell 10 people about the podcast, word of mouth. So we're standing here, we're talking, maybe you're asking me what I'm doing, what I do. And I say, I work for the company I work for, and I also have a podcast. So I wanted that to be something at the forefront. So networking, building those skills, and finding ways to attack those goals, whether the big or the small. The small obviously are easier to start attacking, but prayerfully, your small goals are somehow feeding into your bigger goals. So that's that. So then step 6, I feel like once you got all this, you got the goals, you got what you're going to do, you start attacking them. I think it's very important to always show up as the person that you want to be known as. Always. So for me now, I don't go anywhere now and I don't look put together. It's like always cutesy, I'm always put together. I usually always have my nails done. Like today, not having my nails done is very disheartening. I like to have my nails done. I like to have my hair done. I'm kind of phasing in and out of makeup. Some days I'm like, oh, I don't need it. And then some days I'm like, oh, I do. But I like to always look very put together for the most part. Like I'm definitely not the college me anymore. Like I'm not the college me at all. So I think that's something to keep in mind. You want to show up as your best self. And I started thinking about this, especially because I live in Chicago now. I never know who I might run into. And a lot of like the people that I look up to, influencers, etc., a lot of them are in and out of Chicago. So what if one day I meet somebody I really wanted to meet and like we could have connected, but they was like for instance, DeAndre Brown, the corporate baddie, he's from Chicago and he'd be here. And I'd be like, what if I met him? Or what if I was at a spot where he was at, which very well could easily happen in Chicago. And I looked crazy and I couldn't go speak because I looked crazy. So I just can't do that to myself. I have to show up as the best version of myself every time that I have the opportunity to. So think about that. And there are alternatives to everything. Hair, nails, makeup, toes, everything. Always just show up as your best self. Always have a good attitude. I feel like that's something that I have really started to master, in my opinion. Like, especially at work, I feel like most people at my job that I work with, they could tell you I've never really had a bad attitude. I don't let things come over me. And I feel like this is something that you have to understand, because I'm not saying nothing ever irritates me. And I'm not saying that I'm never irritated. I am saying that I have learned how to keep that emotion over there. And then when I get home, call my mom, be irritated about it. There's no point in doing that at work because I want everybody to perceive me as a light-hearted, kind, easygoing kind of person. That is the perception that I want. So I don't really let things get to me like in public. I'll wait till I get home and I'll call my friend like, girl, let me tell you what she did because I can't even believe and I don't know why he would. And I just, and you know, you got to pick the time and place. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely think that is a big part of it. Just to recap, I have 6 steps for you. Number 1, figure out what your current brand is. Number 2, ask yourself the questions. What do I really like and what could be improved or taken away? Number 3, what is your personal vision? Whether that be 6 months, a year, 5 years, what do you want to be known for? Number 4, create clear, measurable goals or objectives. Number 5, find ways to start attacking all those goals. Number 6, always show up as the person you want to be known as and as this rebranded person. I feel like it's very easy to see when you rebrand because people will tell you. People genuinely will tell you. I feel like every time I go back to state now, I remember I was there and my Neo Kina was like, you just look so good. Like, you just look so happy. And I was like, because I am. Like, it really is good vibes. Like, it really, really is good vibes. And she always comments on my posts, like, all the time. She'll be like you in Chicago, you. Like, it is such a difference. I am such a happier person. And like I said, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I didn't play villain or I never done anything bad to anybody. Because I did. Like, we all have. And am I proud of it? No. Did it happen? Yes. Can I move forward? I can. Prayerfully, the other person can as well. But that's them, that's me, you know. So those are your 6 steps. So let me give you some, I guess, do's and don'ts when you are creating these 6 steps. So I'm going to start with the don'ts. Number one, do not pretend to be somebody that you're not. You don't have to be somebody that you're not to appeal to people. And I think we can all see this in common culture. Like, think about Raymonte. He does not pretend to be anybody he's not going to be. I think he is a really good example of having friends and people around you that genuinely just like you for you, and they don't like you, I guess, for the aesthetics. Because I feel like him and Dre and all of them, they have pretty different aesthetics that they talk about, but at the end of the day, they merge and they work well together. And you can see it. Like, you literally can see that they work well together. So I think it's really nice to see. So you don't have to show up as somebody that you're not. A rebrand is not, I am this person and I'm going to rebrand and be somebody fake because I think that's what people want to see. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying rebrand as a person that you want to be, a person you aspire to be. Think of people that you've looked up to, etc., and be like, what qualities do I like in them? Oh, that's a good one. Think about that. Like, your mentors, people that you look up to. If you were, in student leadership, people who held positions before you did, think about all of those things and what characteristics do you see in them that you would like to see in yourself. One of my favorites is Camille, and I genuinely like watching her because I feel like she embodies a lot of the same things that I embody. So what characteristics of hers do I like? I like that she's always consistent. And I would love to be more consistent. So do things like that. Do not try to show up as somebody that you're not. Because number one, people are going to read through it. And number two, you're going to be unhappy. Very simply put. And it's going to be harder for you to fall into doing those goals, doing those things because you don't want to do them because it's not you. Number 2, this is going to go back to step 3 where you create your vision. Do not get caught up and not follow the vision that you created. If you said, I want to be X, Y, and Z, don't go be D, E, and F. Like, who are you? Who are you? We were looking for X, Y, and Z. That's not demure. You know what? I need to get off TikTok. I'm sorry if you guys don't watch TikTok and my TikTok references don't land with you, but like, I'm a TikTok girly, so that was not demure. I'm just going to go to the next one. Number 3. And I cannot stress this one enough. You cannot rush the process. If you just graduated this past May, again, congratulations. But it's only been about 6 months at this point. Wait, what is it? May, June, July, August. Girl, it's been about 3 months. It's only been 3 months. Don't find yourself comparing yourself to what other people have going on. You genuinely cannot rush the process. Your process will come. You sit down, you do these things, put those time goals on it, think about things like that. But also, I say put time goals on it, but don't beat yourself up if it's not happening, especially if it's something out of your control. Do not rush your process. Your process will work for you because it's already been created. Very simple. And then the last don't is going to be, do not ignore feedback. If you're going to ask a mentor, a friend, a cousin, a mom, brother, whoever for feedback, even if it's something you genuinely do not want to hear, you have to hear it. And you have to be okay with accepting it. You don't have to take everything. And, like if somebody's like tell you to do some crazy stuff, or they like, you need to stop doing this, but it's working, or something like that, whatever, it's case by case. But you have to at least be willing to hear people's feedback. I feel like so many times people don't even want to hear the feedback, or they hear the feedback and they're like, okay, all right. Think about feedback and think about what you can take from it. Because the thing is, sometimes people might say feedback that you already know or that you already been thinking about. So it's like, okay, that was okay, cool. I got it. Lock it in and move on. But listen to feedback. Also try to see their point of view. Does it actually make sense? Like if you take a step back out of yourself and you just look at it, does it make sense what they're saying? Because sometimes it really will make sense. So be willing to hear that feedback. Now we're going to switch over to some do's. Number 1, try to create systems. I think that's the easiest way to make these goals come to life. If you have some kind of system in hand or whatever the case may be, create some kind of system to make it more like a routine. Next, do give yourself grace. You just graduated. You're about to graduate. Maybe you graduated a while ago and you're looking for something new. Give yourself grace. It's okay. Everybody's path looks different. And I don't know how many times I'll say this on this podcast, but genuinely, all of our paths look different. Everything is different, genuinely. So give yourself grace. It's okay. You will figure it out. Things will work out. It really will. Even if you can't always see it, it genuinely will work out. Next, do believe in you. This rebrand is not about anybody else. That's why I said when you take the feedback from people, take the feedback and do with it what you see best to do with it. You have to believe in you. You are your number 1 fan. Anybody else who you think is a number 1 fan is your number 2, because you are number 1 every single time. You are the biggest advocate for yourself. You are everything to you, or you should be. So if you're not, let's start figuring that out. Number 3, do stay consistent. If you stay consistent in finding out what these goals are, and basically what I like to do, and I had just saw somebody else, Aaliyah, she had just said that she does this too. I break mine down by the month. So I think about my goals for a year, which is, I have a bingo card. I think about my goals for the year, and then I break that down by the months. And I think about the different goals, and I think about when they are achievable and when they're not. For instance, one of mine is to go to a Steelers game. If it's not football season, I can't put that on July. I can't say in July we're going to go to a Steelers game. I just can't say that, So think about when things can happen and think about things like that. And if something happens to not happen exactly when you think it's going to happen, that's okay. Literally, if you look through my planner, multiple different months says get my passport. I still don't have it, but as long as I get it by the end of the year, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. So think of how can you stay consistent. And that's what I like to do. I just like to break things down by the month. Every single month, I have goals in the month. And then the way my planner is set up, I really recommend this planner. The way that my planner is set up, it has a month and then a weekly layout, but it also has like a top 3 for the week. So I lay out what my month goals are. And then every week, I decide which week is going to feed into those monthly goals. And that's it. And the months that I don't hit the goals, it's going to the next month and it's going to keep going until I hit it. It's okay to move something to the next month. Don't beat yourself up and don't take it off. Still do it. Just do it at a later date. Like, you cannot give up on yourself. You have to stay consistent. You have to believe in yourself. You have to understand that at some point, this is all going to work out. It's going to work out. It's going to work out at some point. It's going to work out. That's just as easily put as I can put it. So I've given you a lot of information. Of course, I hope you've been writing some things down. I hope you're going to try some of these. And if you do, definitely DM me. However you want to get in touch with me, comment, and we can talk about it and give advice, etc. And I may even put together like some templates or something for you guys if that's something you're interested in. But definitely you want to take those 6 steps in the rebrand, and then you want to keep all the do's and don'ts in your mind. And I want to finish out with one of the biggest and most important things in my opinion. Try your best to stay on track. Understand it's okay if you go off track, but always, 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 always celebrate the wins. Big, small, it doesn't matter. You have to keep yourself going. And I feel like when you celebrate everything that you do, that's how you keep yourself going. Literally, I remember last year when I started working, I had been working at my job for 2 weeks. I baked myself a brownie. 2 weeks. Like, congrats on 2 weeks. Or it might have been 1 week. It was like, congrats on your first week. Always, always, always celebrate. Because the whole thing is, and I always say big goals or small goals, because the whole thing is small goals feed into big goals in some way. So celebrate small goals, celebrate big goals. It can't just be like, oh, I bought a car, let's celebrate. No, you have to be like, celebrate for everything, whatever the goal is. If your goal is to save $1,000 and you saved $1,000, celebrate that. You know what I'm saying? You have to celebrate yourself. That's what keeps me going. I always celebrate myself, big, small, and different. It could literally be if it's like an influencer or somebody I look up to, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to DM them. If they DM me back, that's a win. That's a win. If it's a brand, if it's a company, no matter what it is, little wins for me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know this is small, but here we go. Like, I'm excited. Always celebrate your little wins, literally, because they matter too. So yeah, I hope that this episode has been informative of what your life should be looking like, how you can start to rebrand yourself, how to get those goals measurable and attainable. If you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out, to comment. I really hope that this episode put into perspective how to get ready to go into the professional spaces and how to just become a better you, because college, or like, think about in college, you might have been mixy, you might have been a little messy, and it's like, I don't want to be the mixy girl anymore. I was a little mixy for sure. And it's like, I don't really want to be the mixy girl. I want to be like fun mixy. Or maybe it was the delusional girl in college and it was like, she's delusional. And maybe you don't want to be the delusional girl. Maybe you want to be the fun. And when I say fun mixy, fun delusional, it's like, it doesn't hurt anybody. It's no harm. It doesn't bring either of us bad will, etc. That's when it's like funsies. So definitely think about all these different things. And, I'm really happy that you tuned in. If you made it this far, thank you so much, you guys. I'm so excited. I'm still on cloud 9. Literally, this is me celebrating little wins. I'm still on cloud 9. I only got 9 subscribers on YouTube, y'all. And so those 9 people, and I think one of them is me from my page. So, so I got like 8. So thank you to those 8 people. And thank you to anybody else who decides to join the fam, because we're really going to the top with this one. So without further ado, that is really it on this episode. I will see you guys back here next Wednesday for our next episode. And I'm just looking forward. Make sure, if you haven't already, you check out this On the Rocks, this can, because Buki, this is tea. But until next time, I will see you guys, and I can't wait to do it all again. Bye-bye.